right, Kayden Christo. How you doing, man?
Yes. I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing?
I'm good. It's great to have you on the show. Um,
It's great to be a guest.
so where are you connecting with us from?
I'm connecting from New York.
Okay. And how old are you?
I am 15.
Oh man, you got to be one of the youngest influencers in the health sphere. I've seen some of your content. You've got a good head on your shoulders. Um, yeah, you're definitely preaching the optimal lifestyle. What would you call it? How would you
I'd call it,
phrase how would you phrase the type of content that you're putting out on the internet?
I think I would phrase my content as like maybe spreading awareness. Because the reason why I upload a lot of the things that I do, like telling you guys, don't buy this product because it has X, Y, and Z in it.
Hmm.
Because I'm trying to raise awareness to that product. And so it could be like, oh, this product is bad and I didn't know that.
Right,
Because there's a lot of things that I talk about that I didn't even know are bad until recently.
right. So you had sort of an epiphany in a sense of how much would you say it is like toxicity in the foods that we're eating, in the ingredient labels.
Yeah.
What inspired you to create this type of content?
It's really just like learning about what is inside of what we eat every single day and how what's inside of those things could deeply affect us. And what
Hmm.
caused me to wake up is so in when quarantine started, I basically was just fattening myself up. I was upset. I couldn't go outside.
Hmm.
I had no friends, so there
Right.
wasn't really much I could do. And even after quarantine ended, I still couldn't break the habit of just gaining weight and eating unhealthy.
Hmm.
Last year in ninth grade. I sort of was eating healthy. I started lifting weights, but I was still gaining weight. And then over the summer, around like August, was when I was like, all right, I do not like how I look in the mirror. I'm about to be 190 pounds. Is this a path that I want to keep on going down? And if I gain 30 pounds a year, how much will I be when I'm 25? I would have gained a lot of weight.
That's inspiring.
So
That's
I
a
was
great,
like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
so what I started doing is I was posting beforehand, but I started posting about my weight loss
Mm,
on my channel and about how I'm trying to actively lose weight.
mm-hmm.
And it
And
actually has been working really well.
so the content that you're producing is it aimed at helping folks better their health or lose weight, or do you think that one is a product of the other?
I think it's really to like help you better your health because not everybody's goal is weight loss.
That's fair.
And you're in Canada, right?
Yep.
In the US, we have a big obesity problem.
Mm-hmm.
73% of people are overweight.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of people should try to lose weight,
Mm-hmm.
but also I think a lot of people are also underweight, and it's really to like better your health and get yourself to the goal that you want.
Right.
And I think that eating healthy can really push that forward.
Right. So just bettering your health is going to optimize the ability for you to achieve any goal. That's a fair
I
point.
mean, there's obviously other things like exercise,
Yeah.
lifestyle, stress management, but I think a lot of it comes from your health,
Right.
if that makes sense.
That makes total sense. Yeah, you have a great head on your shoulders, man. It's good to hear that the youth is starting to wake
Yes.
up. Um, how have your peers taken to your inspiration in content creation? Do they like watching your clips and your videos?
Yes, some people do. I have a lot of my followers actually from my school, and they're in like different grades.
Mm-hmm.
And they come up to me and they're like, "Hey, I've lost some weight by eating the way that you eat."
Mm-hmm.
And also, a lot of people compliment me about my weight loss because they're like, "Oh, you lost a noticeable amount of weight.
It must be
Good
working.
job." Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
So it has definitely helped some people. And also my friends are really involved. Like a lot of the videos that you see on my channel, they actually film because we're allowed to leave the school for lunch. So we
Mm-hmm.
usually go to the Target that's near us and we would film videos.
Mm-hmm. Do they know that you're recording a podcast today?
I told them, yeah,
Yeah, that's
but I
awesome.
didn't like go into detail.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
just said I'm gonna record a podcast about being healthy.
that's awesome, man. All right, and so I guess we can add on to your earlier point. Um, People need to optimize their health to achieve any goal, right? So, what sort of void in an educational sense are you feeling? What are people most misinformed about?
I think we're most misinformed about disease prevention.
Yeah. Okay. And
Because in the United States, a lot of our medication is really to treat the disease,
right,
but never to get to the root cause.
you're talking about chronic disease, right? Like obesity,
Yes,
chronic
yes,
obesity, diabetes. Okay. Okay.
yes.
And and
And a lot of people are only really being taught about how to treat it, but nobody really is learning about how to prevent it. And I feel like if we knew more about what could prevent this stuff, we would be a much healthier country.
mhm, mhm. And what are some of the first steps that people should take to fix that root cause to not have to worry about that problem later in their lives? Like what are people missing?
I think what people are missing is they're eating a lot of they're frequently eating a lot of processed food because there's a lot of food around us that's ultra processed.
Mhm.
And I think if we the very first step to becoming healthier is replacing a lot of the ultra processed food with just whole food
Right.
and then slowly making that shift.
Right. So I've seen most of your content is short form. Um, what platforms are you on? Are you only on Instagram? Because that's the only one that I know of.
I'm on TikTok as well.
You're on TikTok too. Okay. And where have you gained more traction? Do your followers like your message more on Instagram or TikTok? If so,
Probably
why do you think that is?
maybe TikTok because I was posting more there. It's kind of like weird because on TikTok that's where I started and I was posting a bunch there. And then I slowed down on TikTok and started focusing more on Instagram. And then now I've slowed down on both platforms, but I'm looking to be more consistent.
Okay.
But I think more people have received my message better on TikTok because that's where a lot of my followers are.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think people respond? Or are they responding positively or are they responding negatively?
A lot of people, it's mixed because I think like because random people who don't know me in person, they sometimes either respond positively or they respond negatively.
Hmm.
Because on TikTok, a lot of like sometimes I get comments about my weight, but then on Instagram, it's mostly like my friends who are like, "Oh, you're doing great. I love your content." And then a lot of my mom's friends as well are responding good.
So you have a different following. The people that are following your content on Instagram are they're a different crowd, would you say?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And what sort of videos have gained the most traction? Have you had any blow up? Have you had any hit the
Uh,
slipstream in the algorithm and get a lot of comments or
yeah,
views?
one of my videos on TikTok got I believe 3,000 views,
That's
and I
solid.
was talking about country crock.
What were you talking about? Sorry.
Country crock.
What's that? Why don't you tell the audience what that is?
Country crock. It's like a butter replacement, but it's hydrogenated seed oils.
And why is that bad? Why?
And
Because I've heard about seed oils. I mean, I get the sense that they're not so great. But why did that video get a lot of traction?
I think that video got a lot of traction because that was really like at the time that a lot of this kind of content was getting more mainstream and more views,
Hmm.
which is something that I like. I like that now we're waking up to see
Hmm.
what these foods are actually doing to us
Hmm.
and how it might be doing more harm than it is good.
Hmm. And what's your experience as a high school student, getting an early exposure to this sort of knowledge? Like how what's your
I
experience in
think
that?
it's my experience. It was like I was at first I was surprised, but then I went and I started reading more. I'm actually reading a book right now about it, about eating healthy. It's
Hmm.
called Metabolical. And after that, I want to read another book about it.
Hmm.
And after I learned about it, I'm just trying to further deepen my knowledge about it.
Is metabolical talking about metabolic health?
That, and it's also talking about the ultra processed food industry.
Right. Okay. Like, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. Um, and so let's go back to that video you said got 3,000 views. Did it get a lot of comments? Did people DM you, asking for advice? Because I guess, have you put it out there that you've gained success, with this lifestyle, that you've had this body transformation, this weight loss? Do your followers know about that?
Yes,
Yeah.
a lot of them do know about that.
Yeah.
And in terms of DMs, on TikTok, it turned off my DMs, I guess because I'm like underage. But on Instagram, I do get DMs from family members about it because a lot of my family members know about my accounts and have been wanting health advice.
That's cool. Nice. So that they've seen your success, and they're trying to maybe mimic it.
Yes.
That's cool. That's cool. And what sort of advice are you giving people? Like, what are some of the first steps that people should take? Where does the problem lie? If there was maybe one or two things that you could provide to the audience, and how to change their health, what would those be?
The very first thing I would say is to steer clear is to avoid ultra processed food.
Okay.
That's the first thing that you can do to improve your health.
Yeah.
Once you start there, you're gonna feel better and you're gonna want to go further. And the second thing is make a realistic goal and try to get towards it and then keep on to the next point and the next one.
Right. So don't bite off more than you can chew. Yeah. Keep your goals realistic. That's a great point.
Yeah.
Okay. And why don't you define for us ultra processed food? Because you're demonizing these. You don't think people should be eating them. Like they're
Yeah.
do you, we should never consume ultra processed food under any circumstances. What what
Well,
what
maybe not.
what do those
Maybe
count
not
as?
never. Cause
Okay.
ultra processed foods is really just is like foods that are super rich in processed sugar, in like sugar and seed oils. That foods that are rich in ingredients that you don't really find in nature,
Hmm.
like foods that have high fructose corn syrup, red 40, stuff like that.
Right. Okay. That product that you mentioned earlier, crocodile something. We don't have that in Canada.
Country crock.
Country crock. Yeah. So is that ultra processed?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's it's like margarine.
And
I don't know if
margarine.
you've heard of it.
I have heard of margarine. We have that. Why don't you tell us what margarine is?
Margarine is it's meant to be a butter replacement,
Yeah.
but it's as we know it's worse than butter because it's super rich in omega 6s which are pro-inflammatory
Okay.
and there's not many omega 3s and when we have a bad ratio of omega 3 to omega 6 it causes inflammation and also because of the seed oil, it messes with your hunger hormone and your fullness cues and makes you want more.
That's interesting. Okay. So it's a very it seems like a very vast topic. Um, and so yeah, tell the audience um, why you're putting this information out there, because I know you were inspired, um,
Yes.
tell us why you were inspired to start.
I was inspired to start because at first I just started it for fun,
Hmm.
but then I was like, wow, I'm actually seeing success with this. I should really start pushing it out more and sharing my own success to get people to follow like to follow this diet and to eat healthier.
What's your goal with influencing?
My goal with influencing is to have people spread the word to others so that we start waking up and we realize that these foods aren't good for us and that we should be eating a healthier diet.
And what type of content are you creating to get that message out there? Are you making short form content, long form? Um, if someone goes to your Instagram page, what are they going to find?
I've been finding more success with short form because our attention span is much shorter.
Mhm.
So I think short form is quick and easy.
Right,
So people would get the message and then they don't have to watch it for super long, if that makes sense.
right. That makes
Like
sense.
I find more success in a 30-second video than I do in a 45-second or a minute video.
Okay, okay. And and how often would you say that you like to post? Like, if ideally, what are you aiming for?
I want to get to daily, but right now I'm at like 3 times a week.
Okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Um,
What I've been doing is during lunch. Now to fix that issue is I'm recording more videos so I have more content that I could post.
right. Okay. You know what? What sort of message have you come on the show to express? Is there any? I guess we can come to a close now. Are there any words that you have to share to sort of end off the discussion? Like, you have a final message?
My final message is to educate yourself and take the steps to improve your life. And if you see success, then try to also spread the message to others and really just, what's it called? Take charge of your health.
Take charge. Yeah. Be
That's
intentional.
that's my
Like,
message.
make
Yes,
decisions
be
to improve your
intentional.
health. That's
Yeah.
great. That's great. All right. Well, thank you for coming on the show, Kayden. It was great to have you on.
Yes.
Did you enjoy yourself?
Thank you. Yes.
Right on. Was that your first podcast? Did you like it?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was my very first podcast.
Awesome. Um, well, I guess that pretty much wraps it up. But did you miss anything that you wanted to talk about? Like, were there any other topics that we didn't get to discuss?
Not that I could think of right now.
Yeah. Like, did you get your message out clearly? Do you think, like, what did you? Yeah. I mean, I guess that was good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thanks,
That was
man.
that was really good.
All right.
Thank you for having me on your podcast.
Of course, man. It was great to have you on. I think I am really inspired that, like, I thought I started early. People were telling me that at 18 years old I was getting in the influencing game early. But you're in grade 9
I'm in 10th grade,
or 10th grade. But when did you originally start? When did you get on the social media?
ninth grade.
Ninth grade. Sweet. Yeah. What were some of the first steps that you took? Like, how did you what was your first realization?
My first realization was that I'm getting to a weight that I don't want to be at.
Mm,
I my parents were also nagging me every day about how I need to become healthier
mm,
because I was eating really unhealthy and I was just rapidly gaining weight.
mm.
I was morbidly obese.
Really? Would you
Right
say
now,
that?
my BMI was like 35. So that
Okay.
would be considered around morbidly obese. Right now, I'm right. My BMI right now is 30. So it is still like obese, but it's like right there to
I mean,
becoming
5 points. I know a little bit about how BMI works, but 5 points, that seems pretty significant, man. What's your goal? Like, do you want to be fully shredded? Do you want to be like full
yes.
six? Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Are you doing any sports right now? Are you lifting weights, or what are you engaged in?
I lift weights. Last year I did cycling,
Yeah.
but they couldn't fund it this year
Oh, at
because
your
we
school,
have a
like
new.
you did a cycling
Yeah,
program? Okay.
yeah. But now they're not funding it because now our mayor is made a phone policy, basically banning phones. But the school has to pay a lot of money
Hmm.
for these little, they're like pouches, and you would put your phone inside and then it would be locked. But those are really costly, so they
Right.
had to take funding out of cycling because only like 8 people went.
Oh, that's too bad. So now you're
But
lifting
I
weights
do
then.
have, yes, I do lift weights.
Awesome. Awesome.
I
Um,
have an exercise bike actually as well.
oh yeah. Okay. Um, yeah. So I mean, like, tell us or tell me what what sort of improvements, like, how have these steps in improving your health changed your life?
How have they changed my life? First, I I feel better about myself and my appearance.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Are we still recording, by the way? Oh wait, you
Um,
stopped.
I think so.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, yeah. So how has it changed your life? Like what?
I feel better about myself because I was very like conscious about my appearance.
Hmm.
I still kind of am because I still have a big belly, but it's definitely made me feel better. I look better. I have more knowledge about the foods that I'm putting into my body and how that affects me.
Hmm.
I've gained a lot of strength. At first, I was only able to lift up 10 pounds. Right now, my bicep curl is 25.
Awesome. So you've made significant improvement.
Yes.
Is your trajectory constantly upward, or are you having some slopes and dips and valleys and whatnot?
Yeah, there are definitely some times where I hit like a plateau or I go a little bit up, but then I always make sure to get back on track.
Yeah.
Like on Halloween, I'm gonna be honest, I ate a little bit more candy than I needed. So that was something that caused a little bit of downward progress, but then I got back on track.
Yeah.
Then for Thanksgiving, I was a little bit better. And I also stuck mostly to meat.
Hmm.
I did have some mac and cheese and a little bit of pie, but the day of Thanksgiving, I did pretty good. And then I ate some extra food after Thanksgiving. But after that, I locked in.
Yeah.
And then my plan for Christmas is the same thing as Thanksgiving, but after December 26th, I'm going to return to my normal diet.
Would you say that like having a cheat day every now and then is all right, or do you feel bad when you like are you indulging against sort of your own will, or are you making a conscious decision to say, you know what, I'm going to give into my vice. I'm going to eat a little bit, maybe something that I shouldn't, and I'll get back on the horse, or
Yeah. I think cheat days are perfectly fine. If because it's not that I think that these foods that I say are bad are gonna kill you,
mhm,
but we, especially here in America, we're eating these every single day, and they're the center of our diet.
mhm,
And I also have made a lot of progress, and I know that one bad day in a month of eating unhealthy is not gonna blow me up.
right. It's about, what would you say, it's 80-10 or 80-20, 90-10, 95-5, 90,
95.5.
yeah.
Not that. I'm sorry. 85.15.
And how often do you think, like, what's an optimal sort of range, like, how, in terms of weeks or
Every,
months?
every maybe 3 to 4 weeks.
Yeah, you could have like a cheat meal or a cheat day or something like that.
Yeah. Right now I'm eating a smoothie bowl, by the way.
How is it?
I started eating it.
Yeah,
It's pretty good. I started eating it before I got on because I made it at like 9:20.
yeah.
But then I was also doing some schoolwork. And then I was gonna wear a red shirt, but then I got some smoothie on it, and I'm like, I can't go on. So I
Yeah.
started running around looking for a bunch of other shirts, and this was the shirt that I found was the best.
What's
So
in the
then I didn't
smoothie
want to
bowl?
eat on the podcast.
What's in the
What's
smoothie
in the
bowl?
smoothie? It's Members Mark mixed fruit. It's Members Mark is Sam's Club,
Okay.
and it's mixed fruit with raspberries, blackberries, blueberries, and I think that's it. And then some pineapple, and then I put a scoop of Santa Cruz protein, a little bit of Baja Gold mineral salt for electrolytes, and
Mhm.
coconut water, and also chia seeds and peanut butter.
Is that a typical breakfast for you?
Yes.
Yeah. What sort? Because you're in high school, so I guess what sort of meals are you able to? Do you pack your lunch or do you go home to eat? How do you navigate being a high school student and and
It
achieving
depends
your
on the
goal?
day.
Yeah.
It depends on the day. Usually, I pack my lunch, which is some steak.
Hmm.
Usually, it's like steak or ground beef or chicken. Yesterday, I had 5 ounces of steak, and then I had a few chicken wings that I made the night before
Hmm.
because I made them for dinner, and that's what I had for lunch yesterday.
Okay. And do you always eat breakfast? Do you always eat before school?
Yes, because usually I end up feeling hungry in the morning. Sometimes, if I'm not hungry in the morning, I still make something,
Hmm.
but I don't eat it until I feel hungry.
Do you show your audience what you eat in a day, or are you more so focused on getting your message about fixing your health and avoiding the bad foods? Like, what is your content focused on?
I think it's more focused on teaching people how to read ingredients,
Hmm.
but I do post what I eat in a day here and there.
Right. Okay. Do you think that people would find value from you sharing like your own examples of how you're changing your health and how you're making the right choices?
Yes, I definitely want to lead by example
Right. Exactly.
because then people are going to be like, oh, he's seeing success. Maybe I could give it a try. And then they might end up seeing success as well. And then now the word starts spreading,
Okay.
which is what I want.
Right. What sort of did you have any like failures in your experience losing weight? Did you try anything that didn't work or any diets that didn't pan
Many.
out? Yeah.
I want you to know, I've been, I've always been the fat kid. I've always been heavier than I should be. And I started trying to lose weight during quarantine,
Hmm.
but I was still eating a bunch and eating unhealthy
Hmm.
and stealing food from the kitchen since I was home by myself.
Hmm.
And then in seventh grade, that was when we were allowed to go outside again.
Go outside. What do you mean?
And
What do you mean by go outside again?
so in 2020, when COVID happened, the president made us all stay at home in order to stop spreading it because it got really bad.
Hmm.
And then about a year later, we were allowed to kind of go outside. We still had to wear masks, but we were allowed to go outside more. And then in eighth grade, everything actually fully got lifted.
Right.
But even in seventh grade, I was still eating unhealthy. I was still buying unhealthy junk.
Hmm. And so when your parents were telling you to make certain changes and try to improve your health, what were their examples? What did that look like to other folks?
What do you mean?
Like was excuse me. Um, you mentioned earlier that your parents were trying to
Oh,
um,
yeah.
influence you to improve your health and make better choices.
Yeah, they were
How,
telling
how
me,
how would they
like,
have defined that? Like the folks that wanted you to better your health.
they were, they wanted me to eat more vegetables and eat less garbage food because I was buying McDonald's every day.
Hmm.
I was going to 7-Eleven and getting those chicken sandwiches. I was eating deep fried food every day, and there was just so much good food. Well, not good food, but food that tasted good.
Right.
And I
Okay.
was going to Starbucks, and I was eating a bunch of sugar, unhealthy fats, and that was really what they were saying, that I'm eating a bad diet,
Mm,
and and that it's gonna hurt me in the long run. And it also doesn't help that my family has a long history of these diseases, like of chronic disease.
right. Do you have a few siblings? Do you have any? How many people are in your family or in your household?
Um, in my household, there's 5 people. My
Okay.
father, my mom. I'm the eldest of three,
Okay. So you got two
and
siblings.
I'm 15. My sister is in 6th grade and she's 11, and then my brother is 9 in 4th grade.
And what do they think of your aspiring social media platforms?
They don't. I mean, my sister follows me, and she doesn't really think too much of it. She thinks it's good
Cool.
what I'm doing, but she doesn't really care much.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. And
I'm
your
also
brother?
still trying to get my parents to eat healthy.
Oh yeah. Okay.
My
And
brother,
yeah, go ahead.
he also likes my content, and he's glad that I'm being healthy.
Yeah. Are they taking any advice from you? How has it been? Um,
They are slowly taking more and more advice from me,
yeah. Do they think of you as someone that they
especially at
can? Go ahead. Go ahead.
no, sorry. Oh wait,
Yeah, I was going to ask, does your family look up to you as someone that they can go to for advice if they're unsure about whether or not they should eat something?
yeah.
Yeah.
Especially now recently that they're like, oh, you actually have been seeing success with it. So it's much more easier to believe what I say.
So
Whereas
when you
before when I was saying it, but I was still,
it wasn't credible.
that was, yeah,
Yeah, because you didn't have the tangible reward and achievement from your efforts.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So now I basically established credibility.
right. That's a good way of putting it. Um, yeah, okay. All right, man. That was a good conversation.
Yes.
You happy you went on the show?
It was huh?
You happy you went on the show?
Yes, I'm very happy. I think it was cool.
Yeah. What else do you have planned for today? Are you going to school soon today, or do you have class?
Well, I'm gonna pick up my sister later, but I don't really know if I should go in late.
Mm,
I mean, school started like an hour and a half ago, and I'd be there at like 11. But I think I'll just stay home and make up all the work because right now I'm working on. Before I went on the call, I was working on history work, and I really think that today I just want to catch up on everything
right.
because we have a research paper for history about the Holocaust, and you basically have to like they give you a question about it and about like different people's involvement.
Mm,
So I have to write about how the U.S. president at the time was involved in the Holocaust.
okay. Okay. Are you driving? Are you picking up your sister? Driving?
No,
Oh, okay. I thought you said you were gonna drive to pick up your sister.
oh no,
I wasn't driving in grade nine. That's funny. Okay. All right, man.
I was I was gonna walk. I
Okay.
actually have to get more bus passes from the school.
They give you a bus pass, like to like public
Yes,
transit.
something. Yes, we take like there's like a bus near our school.
Mm,
Sometimes I get on if I'm feeling lazy, but usually I try to walk. But I do need to get another card
yeah.
because I dropped it.
You lost it. That's funny.
Yeah,
Okay. All right, man. Thanks for coming on the show. It was great to have you. I guess we can sign off
thank
now.
you.
Yeah. All the best with your content. I love what you're putting out
Yes,
there.
thank you very much for having me. It was a pleasure.
Of course. Yeah. Pleasure's all mine.
What's the podcast?
Sorry?
Huh?
Go ahead.
What's
most
the
part.
podcast gonna be called?
We're not sure yet. I'm leaving it open to interpretation at the moment. But yeah, yeah, to be
When
determined.
when do you plan on releasing it?
I will we'll chop it all up, or not necessarily chop it all up, but we'll get a finalized copy, and then we'll send it to you maybe in a few days to a week. Um, yeah, yeah, and you can do whatever you want with it. You can cut it up into shorts if you like certain points that you talked about. You can put it on your show. But yeah, yeah. In regard to when you're going to have the content, we'll have it ready in a few days to a week.
All right. And once again, it was a real pleasure. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
You're welcome.
And I'm happy if in the future you want to do another something like this, another podcast, I'm happy to come on.
Absolutely. We'll do it.
All right.
All right.
Thank you very much, Jean Paul.
Of course. Thank you for accepting the invitation. Have a good day, man.
You too. Bye.